Students, from ancient time itself, man faced many problems. For example, wild animals, lack of food, climate change, etc. Through great efforts, he overcame these problems. You might have heard about great personalities, namely Edison, Christopher Columbus, Wright brothers, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Galileo, Savitribai Phule, etc. They worked for the betterment of mankind. They inspired many people. They inspire us to become unselfish and help others. This is an inspiring and heart-touching poem with a strong message. It tells us about an old man who is unselfish or selflessness. After crossing the deep chasm, he stops to build a bridge to help a youth who is coming along the path, even though the old man knows that he himself will never ever have the chance to cross that bridge. Students, before starting explanation, let me read poem first. A pilgrim going a lone highway. A pilgrim going a lone highway came at evening cold and grey. To a chasm deep and vast and wide, the old man crossed in the twilight dim. The chasm held no fear for him, but he paused when he reached the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, why waste your time in building here? Your journey ends with the close of the day. You never again will pass this way. You have crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build ye here eventide? The pilgrim raised his old grey head. My friend, in the path I have come, he said. There followed after me today a fair-haired youth who must pass this way. The chasm which held no fears for me, to the fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. My friend, I am building this bridge for him. Anonymous. Here anonymous means we don't know the writer of this poem. When we don't know the writer who has written, poet, who exactly written, then we can say that name of the poet means anonymous. We don't know the name. Before starting explanation of this poem, let me explain some figure of speech I have already explained you in earlier videos. If two or more words in the same line convey the same meaning, in a line, if two or more words convey the same meaning, the figure of speech in that line is called tautology. See here example. It brought joy and cheer. Joy and cheer almost convey the same meaning. They groaned with aches and pain. Here ache means what? Ache is also pain. Pain means also pain. But they are used in different ways. For example, we say the headache, not head pain. Stomach ache, not stomach pain. So, they groan with aches and pain. These two words also convey same meaning, and this figure of speech is tautology. Now see B. Poets often change the proper grammatical order of words in the line of a poem in order to make the lines rhyme or to emphasize upon something. The figure of speech in such lines is called inversion or anastrophe. Both are same, two words are given, but figure of speech is same. Inversion or anastrophe. For example, up came the sun, down the hill it flowed. How can you make this into simple sentence? The sun came up. If you write sun came up, it will not give you poetic effect. So, up came the sun. Here, down the hill it flowed. It flowed down the hill. So, in order to give poetic effect or rhyme scheme or emphasize on something, if the words are grammatical order of words are changed, such figure of speech is called inversion or anastrophe. Now see, when a question is asked in order to create a dramatic effect and not to get an answer, in a line of the poem, the figure of speech used is called interrogation or rhetorical question. See the examples given here. What is this life, if full of care? When can their glory fade? Means these questions are not asked directly to get the answer, but to create a poetic effect. These questions have been asked. So this type of sentences are called here what? Interrogation or rhetorical question. And this figure of speech is called interrogation. Or we can also say that rhetorical questions.